So there was something.
Up down or.
Oh,
You did great. Oh, yes.
But then I ordered, decorations back.
Madison.
I was like, I'm gonna have here and here and here, and I ordered them all. So I know they're sold out next year.
So again, we were. You're in the meeting. In that meeting, I had.
You just say a few things just to test to make sure that
Like
Is reading the.
Okay, so how's
It was a meeting, it was people walking
That's
around,
helpful.
like,
Thank
That's good.
living in like.
Thank you.
construction, like, look good on TV, man, it is.
Yeah.
patient.
Well.
I mean, we only live in a third of the house.
Right,
And they
right.
put up temporary walls.
And our meetings.
It's like, it's.
But they could add light.
It's still under construction. Oh, it's like, it's gonna be a year.
We moved into like upstairs, to my shoulders. They had everything.
Maybe they're not working.
One staircase. The rest of the house was like in closet. And we had the kitchen and then the base. Well, they did the basement first, and we kind of lived out in the basement.
We don't have a temporary kitchen, like, we don't have a, they like sent one. I mean, it's not like it can really change my life. No, really, now you can't full build it. Well, and then today they were moving the water meter and doing all that stuff, so we didn't have water all day, and they actually broke, like, there was something, some connection that they couldn't reconnect, and so we don't know what. Then we might be moving to my in-laws a little bit. George can survive like that, but.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
Are you on his, Green Bay Packers stuff? He was not a guy. Oh, he and Chopper
The
did.
bill that I said changes.
I'm not sure.
It's in here,
Yeah.
and I was like, I might be sure what this is. It doesn't change, it reduces the number of, like, or industry representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the way they would do it is.
It's staged.
It's kind of like, it gives a little bit. But it wouldn't impact anybody. It's still, I give a little bit more guidance, but the main ones are that they, I think, is focused on, we have no.
But.
University. Presidents or anything, and the other higher incentives.
You're making a line. Yes.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Everybody is like, Roanoke is doing this, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I think.
I'm still.
That's something funny.
Sure, so I was like, I want to be short lived this board. If that happens. I mean, unless. Is it? I can't, sorry. But this wouldn't have. I guess we're going to that attention.
I think the idea would be to be used to any polish and things, but the things that they do.
I would have to be. She is filling out,
Yeah. So it'd be an industry. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's no problem.
I see what you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have any of y'all heard from Jay?
Yeah, he's.
he's sick. Okay.
Who they can?
I have not, we were just talking about that, we think he's here.
I haven't heard otherwise.
I haven't heard it, but he was not feeling well earlier in the week and his mother passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, similar note.
Destiny says she's waiting on an elevator en route. Brandon said that Senator Srinivasan has transportation, but it's just a couple bills, so he might be a little bit late. Haven't heard anything from Senator Head. Delegate Rasool seemed like he was.
Seemed like he was
might be
coming.
caught in a committee and will be here shortly.
It's like C to Z. It was like, see you. But sometimes with him, it's like, see you this afternoon, would be like, see you next year.
Yeah. So the only, yeah, basically, we can get started. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have more than a quorum. Michael's online. Ren should be showing up online.
Is it a way that we can?
I can't find a remote and there's no buttons on the TV. So,
Interesting.
yeah. You'll have to kind of turn around, but
I wonder if it's in one of those cabinets. Did you look in these?
yes. Well, I didn't look in that end. I looked on the other end.
Projected back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Richard, just hold his computer up so we can all see.
right, we're ready to do.
I don't want to see what's on this side. Welcome to the General Assembly. Yes. How are you?
You have to, we need male dominance down there, so.
You said.
Just like back in the church.
Right.
I apologize, I have a conflict with transportation committee,
Oh,
so I have to leave you.
Yeah.
We are traveling in Italy in a minute, so.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Oh,
Have
no,
to shake
well,
hands and
you can
have
go.
babies and you can go.
I just want to come and say hello to everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome all of you, the GAB. Yeah.
Good to see you, sir.
What's going, sir?
Very nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
You again.
Happy New Year.
So sorry, Carol.
Thank you. Have seen you.
Sir, doctor. I see you. See you. Yeah.
Hey, nice to see you.
So, thank you for me.
Marcus. I really think that's Chanel's chief of staff.
Oh, what does he look like?
I think that's his chief of staff.
He's keeping him on time.
Yeah.
You ready to get going?
I was going with Destiny, but she should just come.
She was waiting on.
Yeah, who knows? She could have gotten.
Yeah, because tons of people were waiting for her. Mhm. Yes. All right. Is that good? So thank you, everyone. It's time to call the Thursday, January 15th, 2026 NCI Board of Directors meeting to order. And now I'll ask Olivia to call the roll.
Dr. Mark Crabtree,
Present.
Valerie Crummy Johnson,
Present.
Mr. Jay Dickens,
Present.
Ms. Stacy Gordon,
Present.
Senator Chris Head, Mr. Eric Jones,
Present.
Mr. Kevin Lane,
Present.
Delegate Destiny Lucier Bowling, here she is. Ms. Ashley Lockhart,
Present.
Mr. Michael Lunsgard,
Present.
Mr. Lee Frelman,
Present.
Delegate Sam Rasool, Senator Connie Srinivasan, Mr. Marcus Stone,
Present.
and Delegate Randall. You have it work.
Thanks. Before we get started, just like to say thank you for everyone for coming out. Recognize special guest, Delegate Eric Phillips. It's great to see you here today. Thank you, sir. We also want to welcome back Dr. Mark Crabtree, who couldn't make our last meeting. Dr. Crabtree, it's good to see you in person.
Thank you for the prayers in there. my notes that I received.
Thank you, sir. And also, Mr. Jay Dickens, we know that your, family received just the loss in your family. So the board is, with you, and our prayers are and condolences go out to you as well.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you for the update.
Sit down. And then you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah. And we also will.
You stay with
No, you're good.
Okay, whatever.
I'm just welcoming you to the meeting, honor good delegate, Destiny Levere Bowling. I also want to say congratulations on your being voted as
That's good, yeah. Thank you.
Democratic Majority Whip. So in your packets, we'll go ahead and get started. We have the minutes from our November 12th, 2025 board minutes. Those were sent out in your board packet. You should have had a chance to review. If not, you could take a quick look through those now. But the first order of business is the approval of those board minutes. So I'll welcome a motion for the approval of the November 12th, 2025 board minutes.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we have approval of the November 12th, 2025 board minutes. Do we have any discussion? Without discussion, all in favor, vote by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, and the minutes for our November 12th, 2025 meeting have been approved. We'll now move into our next section of the meeting, which is going to get into our committee reports. I'm going to defer to the board liaisons for those committees, but you may defer to anybody in the new college staff for updates or lean on them for the reports as you see fit. So the first we will have up from a committee reporting perspective is the Workforce and Academic Committee report. And I'll ask our Madam Vice Chair Lockhart to give the report.
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to give a special thanks to staff for preparing this in a very short period of time between our last meeting and today. They spent the winter break working and developing this report based on all of the requests and the guidelines that the chair set for it to be presented. So thank you everyone for participating. We had a great discussion. We went through it in our committee meeting. And we only had minor changes, some minor language changes. And it did not pass out of committee with unanimously with one dissenting vote, but we sent it to the chair for his review. And I'll defer to Olivia now to present it to the committee.
I'll give you all a brief overview of the report. It's all in your committee packet and it's available online. Everybody's in here, so basically the report gives an overview of the proposal that was proposed in November. It focuses on Pacific Community College's headcount enrollment over the past 10 years. It also touches on facility capacity, and it goes through some of the pieces of the JLAR's recent report from October 2025 about Virginia Community College's system. For the beginning piece, analyzing the headcount enrollment to understand better how Pacific Henry is outgrowing their schools. The data provided is from SHEV, that's the State Council for Higher Education in Virginia. And according to SHEV, since 2015, there's actually been a decline or stagnation in enrollment of associate's degrees, technical degrees, and certificates. So there has been some ebb and flow over the years, but as an example, in 2015, there were over 2,500 students enrolled in fall of 2015, and today that's under 2,000, and this was reflected as a common occurrence in rural community colleges in the JLARC report. I think it's over half of BCCS colleges have an enrollment under 2,200. But it's also important to note that of the 5 higher education centers, all of them have community colleges in their backyard, and all of them, with the exception of Virginia Western and Roanoke, also fall in that under 2,200 enrollment. And so we're really, when we look at higher education centers, they're, most of them are working well with their community colleges and have their various programming in, on their campuses with their local community colleges, and they have similar composition in rural communities. Next, touching on the facility capacity, Save-Arc reference, STEM's space utilization report from the fall of 2024 that's not yet publicly available, so I wasn't able to dig in to the specifically to Patrick and Henry on that front, but they did note in the report that most community colleges are actually underutilizing their space, particularly the ones in rural areas. When you take into account dual enrollment, CTE programs, a lot of those don't happen on campus, and then there is the added online learning component too, which does dwindle the actual in-person people attending classes on campus. And so without seeing the numbers directly from Chev, it's hard to determine what the actual capacity, like the utilization rate is for Patrick and Henry's campus, which there is a chart included on page 8, and it outlines the 11 buildings that Patrick and Henry has. Some of them were added, 5 of them were added since 2015 when their enrollment started to decline. They also have 137 acres across 2 different counties. And we know the folks that are local know how big the Met has been, Met 2, very large. So without seeing the utilization rates, it's hard to determine that they're outgrowing their space and need new space. Let's see. Next, we touched on duplication and enrollment of programming to improve efficiency. And just important to note that it's been a long-standing internal policy of Executive Director Joe Sumner not to duplicate programs and work with Patrick and Henry, but it's also already in the code of Virginia. Under our powers and duties of the board, this is common in all of the higher education centers languages, that when you have a community college in your geographic area, that you will make efforts not to duplicate, and if there is if the community college cannot fulfill that need, then that's when the higher education. That's it. So that is already in code. Next, we touched on the partners that were supportive of the proposal, and there was a little bit of discussion about this during the workforce committee, but staff and board leadership have yet to receive any formal letters of support. We have seen documentation of Henry County Board of Supervisors letter of support that was provided by Dr. Crabtree. But to date, there's been no direct communication with NCI staff or board leadership about their support for the proposal. So it's hard to verify or validate their true support of the direction of this. It's also important to note that in November 2025, Supervisor Garrett Willard on the Henry County Board of Supervisors, he did not make a motion, but he did indicate his interest in removing that as a legislative priority for Henry County, given the board's actions prior to November. We touched on a lot of the different excerpts from JLARC. There was a part of the proposal that discussed bachelor's and beyond, and discussed partnerships with public universities and colleges. And it's important to know that Patrick and Henry benefits from being a part of a system of 23 community colleges, the Virginia Community College System, and the system has a guaranteed admissions agreement. And so those relationships aren't necessarily unique to Patrick and Henry. They're something that all 23 community colleges benefit from. and enables their students to be matriculate into universities following the completion of their associate's degree. There's also on page 13, a chart that evaluates Patrick Henry's transfer enrollment. We don't have the graduation data yet for the latest cohort of students that have transferred from Patrick Henry into a university, and we only get that graduation data if more than 10 students are enrolled in that university. So we do have data from the 2018 to 2022 cohort, and there were 91 students that enrolled in public institutions. 17 of them were Longwood, which presumably was at NCI. Though I don't have the data to cross-reference that. Old Dominion, Bradford had the most, transfers, 29 back in, 2018. Private institutions, the predominant one is Liberty. There was 24 out of 54 students went to Liberty University. And then the graduation rate for public institutions is 64% and private institutions is 48%. So we're looking at, if Patrick and Henry had a fall enrollment of 1,900 students, we have 130 that transfer to a four-year college. Moving on. Some of section 2, we talked about it during the November board meeting, the legal implications, the inclusion of Martin Luther King County Academic Foundation, and the position that could, put NCI into the lead. There's still, if this was to move forward, a whole host of items to check off: a transition timeline, facility and asset management plan, staffing implications, budget modeling, cost benefit analysis, risk analysis for partners and various programs, governance and board structure, etc. We also, so talking about the other higher education centers, the other four higher education centers find a lot of different creative ways to work with their local community colleges. NCI is part of the Southside Higher Education Coalition, so we submit an annual letter to the SHEB executive director, the money committees, as well as the Secretary of Education, to show how NCI, ILR, and Southern Virginia Higher Education Center are all working together for a coalition. And so in that last report, Southern Virginia Higher Ed Center reported over 400 learners were enrolled in their associate degree programs that are housed at Southern Virginia Higher Ed Center, but is part of Southside Community College. Likewise, ILR reported 14 graduates from the Integrated Technology Capstone, 608 dual enrollment credits with the Academy for Engineering and Technology, and 1,700 plus dual enrollment credits for the Piedmont Governor School, which is all in partnership with Danville Community College. Southwest Virginia, they have a great relationship with Virginia Highlands Community College. They noted in their last review report that they went in together on a new marquee for Southwest Virginia's campus. And they also work with Emory and Henry on their local lab school. Roanoke Higher Ed, they have a culinary arts program. If you've been to their campus, they have a cafe, and that is in partnership with Virginia Western. So students can go to Virginia Western, and if they're doing a culinary arts program, they have the opportunity to get 4 certificates and 2 different associates in the culinary arts through the partnership with Roanoke Higher Ed and Virginia Western. And as I've noted before, all of the colleges that have been mentioned in connection with other higher education centers fall in that same category, under 2,200 students, small rural campuses. And they've pursued pathways to work together. So ultimately, the alternative ways, there is opportunity to develop an MOU with Patrick and Henry for them to use some of NCI spaces like we have with other partners, to have classes there. We actually brought up a great point that We long talked about renovating the kitchen at NCI into a commercial kitchen. Patrick and Henry doesn't have a culinary arts program at the moment. That could be an opportunity for them to revitalize that program and have it at NCI. Or if there wasn't an interest for that, then that could be something that NCI could develop, but would not be duplicative of what Patrick and Henry is doing. And when you think about it, with the casino, Kremlin, you name it, culinary arts is probably needed in our community. So I think that's a great project to come back to. The other pathway recommended in this report is updating the code language pertaining to the board composition, which Delegate LaVere Bowling and Senator Schramm-Boxon have introduced legislation to support that. And I think we'll talk about it later in the board meeting, but when I did a comparative analysis of the other higher education centers and NCIs, NCI definitely stood out as having the least amount of specificity for their board. And all of the other higher education centers have the executive director of SHEV, they have the chancellor of Virginia Community College System, and they have a host of presidents from various colleges and universities. And when you look at the higher ed center's programming, it usually aligns with who's on the board. And so that is what this legislation will aim to do, will be to bring those statewide stakeholders and the higher education sphere to Martinsville to serve on this board if the legislation passes. And so that is a first item. Second would be to sustain and increase our funding in the General Assembly's budget for our general fund appropriation, which was an action from the chair at the last board meeting. And third, with the Virginia Office of the Attorney General continuing to work to resolve the legal issues we have with NHCAF and to continue developing partnerships in the meantime, keeping in mind that we could have new players on board. Anything I missed?
No, I would like to open it up for questions or comments. If anybody has any.
A few questions, if that's okay. So, in a couple of things from a P&H perspective, was there any consideration whether it was in their current enrollment or what feeds into P&H? I notice, I keep hearing in our community that the Harvest Foundation Seed Program was wildly successful, but I see their enrollment going down. So was there any discussion in the committee of seed impact?
And the seed program, and I haven't been able to find anything. I'd love to see it, but I was trying to find something to support that, and didn't see X number of students received X amount of dollars and X graduated on this date. It's not out there.
Okay, and part of the reason I bring it up, I'm also assuming that programming that NCI has, or partners have at NCI, probably would not be able to take advantage of seed, the way it's currently structured. Yeah, so, Joe,
No, so we do not currently have access to the seed fund.
that's what I thought, yeah, yeah. So that's something in the future we may want to look at, as we think about the relationship with P&H, if there were some way to tap into that, or have that as a funding channel, that might be a real benefit.
I did not touch on it, get right over it. The report does discuss a link fast forward, and it's important to note that that's not a standalone program that you enroll in to take classes. It's essentially a funding mechanism. And so that's why fast forward is increasing in usage through Patrick and Henry students, but that doesn't necessarily mean that more students are enrolling at Patrick and Henry. It means more
Great
students
point.
are getting funding.
Great clarification, yeah. You mentioned that no organizations put forward supporting the original proposal. Did we ask any of the organizations?
I did.
Or go back and confirm, or?
I felt like that was part of the proposal, which
Okay.
accompanied that, so I did not request that.
And,
Okay.
and because it wasn't an official request of the board, it wouldn't have been appropriate for them to
Well,
reach out to.
yeah, the only reason I bring it up, it seemed to be a specific point you were making, that nobody put anything forward, so I just want to know, did we ask? As part of the, no, as part of
Right.
this exercise, that's what I'm talking about. As part of this exercise, we did not go out and ask. Okay, just again, because we said it that way, I just wanted to make sure I understood the other side of that. And then I'm curious who all had input into the committee work. Was this within the walls of NCI, or was there anyone from the community that gave us input, that reviewed it, that had input into it?
It was reviewed by multiple staff. It was mostly internal, but it's heavily reliant on data that Patrick and Henry reports to Chef. And I would say the majority of the JLAR data is also Chef.
Were there any discussions with P&H to validate anything, or?
I think the validation is in the report.
It's in the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no made up.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the committee.
So there's,
Questions, I just want to understand.
Yeah.
Breadth of-
In higher education in the Commonwealth, Chev is the source of truth for data regarding students, enrollment, all of the numbers. So anything that, it wouldn't need verification because it's coming from the one source of truth into the report.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I understand where the data
Yeah.
came from. I'm just asking who all was involved in preparing this.
Yeah.
So
It was, to answer your question, the task was, for me, the task was directly to internal staff and committee members to take the proposal and look at other options within NCI. I think once we get to what the findings recommendations is, it's appropriate, if it makes it through committee, then it would go through the next channels of communicating out and getting input and feedback.
Sure.
And so,
Yeah, so I just want to confirm it's 100% within the walls of NCI.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm
Are you
sorry.
still going? Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me do the last one, sorry. As the committee was going through this, one of the things within our community that has always kind of stood out to me is P&H's involvement in economic development. It seems like every time a new company is announced, Dr. Hodges or somebody from P&H is sitting right there. So, again, from a committee perspective, when you guys were going through this, was there any discussion of how we get positioned to have a seat at that table? Yes, sir.
I have consistently asked for the last 3 years, sir. I've been told the meeting will be called upon.
I'm sorry.
I have consistently asked for a seat at that table the last 3 years, and I've politely been told, hang tight, we'll call on you when we need you.
Okay. When we were putting this together, did we consider the potential to be engaged in economic development activities?
So wanted, Mr. Perlman, I want to make sure that we are clear on what the guidance was out of the last meeting for this particular activity. There was a proposal brought to this committee, brought to this board about a potential merger with P&H. I asked the committee to go research that.
Sure.
Is that feasible? Right, in the components of that, the things that were written in that, how feasible are they based on the data set that was given to us by Chev? Look at what P&H has to offer, come together as a committee, because I wanted it to go through committee first, but we were not independently creating a study from the tasking that I gave. My task was to take the proposal that was brought to by Dr. Crabtree and review that, and then provide a report back to this committee on the feasibility of that based on the data.
That's great. I'm just asking for some.
But as
Yeah, I wasn't
as to
aware.
bring
I'm just
in
curious
economic
what all you
development.
guys talked about. That's all I'm trying to suss out.
This,
It's not,
The report follows the chair's request.
okay.
Because of the time lag, not the time, like the short amount of time that we
Sure.
had to develop this, it could definitely become something bigger. And if there are opportunities, to do that and I think that's what we should discuss today. If there are other avenues we need to be examining, let's look at those, and then we can, go further down those. And if economic development is one, I do think that the legislation that Delegate Bowling has put in will go a long way to that, so that those people will have a seat at our board, at our table. And I think, you know, that could also facilitate a seat at their table as well.
And then the very last item is, and that goes back to something I mentioned earlier. At some point, I do hope we take this into our community and find out who will support or not support whatever recommendation we have. Because we all know our community hasn't been supporting NCI last couple of years. And it's critical that we get the community back engaged with us. And the way that'll be demonstrated is through their checkbook. And that's probably the most important thing, at least from my personal perspective, is how do we get the support of our community again? 'Cause we're going it alone and it's rough. It's tough-
Yeah.
tough sledding.
And I think the board composition has not helped. Yes, Dr.
I guess kind of get back to the whole thing. First of all, as I did before, I want to commend the committee for doing a lot of due diligence. Because, you know, all those things and all the stuff that's left to be done was not intended to be taken care of in a resolution, which is basically to be a reflection of what could be in the future. And then as the discussion evolved, and the question I think I sent to the committee was, you know, a conversation with the president of P&H, who had already been asked this question several times before, and the previous president. So they've been asked this over and over. And so the vision of what the community as a economic development community, as the community that the people that are trying to bring people out of poverty, that are trying to create jobs and opportunity for the people in our community. That's what NCI was set up to do. And we have from my background as being higher ed person, on boards and director and other things, we have a town and gown problem. That's pure and simple. If you've been on any college boards, you'll understand what that means. We got a town and gown. The gown is us, the educational institution, and their relationship with our region, Lawrenceville-Henry County. So there's a disconnect. Obviously, there's a disconnect. If they're saying that, I think at one time they may have been on board. I'm not sure about that, but you have to check there. But I believe at one time BDC was on board, but they're not anymore. So why has this disconnect occurred? Why do we have this town and gown thing, which creates, from the perspective of people that are out there doing the nuts and bolts of generating jobs and opportunity, trying to create opportunity for our kids, to give them opportunity to stay home, to have a good life, to break the cycle of poverty. This was the concept that was thrown out. And I thought it was a wonderful concept because it did so many positive things for that. It takes the Baldwin block, the Baldwin building on Fayette Street, Martinsville, becomes the center, the absolute center of economic development in Martinsville County. I think that's a great thing. I think that is something that's out there. So if you read through the actual resolves, you can throw away all the whereases and look at the resolves. Number one, the resolves are, we're not going to change anything that's being done. All the good work that's being done now is to continue. All of it, every single one of the programs, and more, we hope. But how can we transform that into something that's going to be transformative for our community? I can tell you that their values and mission statement is so overlapped with the workforce development, which the Commonwealth of Virginia clearly has made it known that community colleges have transformed over into the workforce development issue. That's becoming more and more and more evident. As the educational systems have changed, we come to the point where we need to change too. So that's kind of what led to it. That's where we are. We're nibbling around the edges. Well, that's just good, because we nibble, we'll get something going. But the thing is, we've got to make sure that what we're doing is best for the region to improve the life of our people and make an impact, a real impact. When we were at our height, when we had a real higher ed center thing going, when they built this building, it was a great thing. They had 200 or 300 people coming in and out of that building. It had the opportunity, you can imagine that building, all the commerce that could flow from people that are going in and out and can go just walk across the street and get a hot dog. That's the type of thing that goes when you create that kind of activity. That was the intent. That's not what's occurring. We have a great, beautiful building. It does wonderful things. Everybody has access to go in and have their social events and their meetings, and they want that, all that continues. But how can you transform it into something that really, really impacts the lives of our children in the future? And that's what we're trying to do. And I think the state's perspective is they're seeing, maybe obviously the previous administration saw something that needed to be done. And I understand the previous administration before that was nudging it along too, to try to get something going to make sure that we take it up to another level. And that's what we need to do, take it to another level to ensure that we can improve the lives of our people, improve the lives and opportunities of the people that are there. And all the other stuff is kind of superfluous. It's because if we do that, then we'll make a change. If we don't, we're going to continue to do the old saying that we're going to continue to do what we've always done, and we'll get what we always have. That's where we are at this juncture in life. So I look forward to hopefully the governor's office stepping up and bringing in that extra $1 million, which I think was promised, and during the campaign to restore that funding and get it going. If that's going to be it, let's make a real commitment to it, because we've been calling to get a strategic plan in place since I've been on for 10 months. I don't know. I care about it, and so we just need to get going. So that's the whole thing. We need to move ahead. That's the genesis of it all, and the time and the tenor and the thing about the individuals that are there. And when you have an individual says this fits in with our feelings of what could be good. And no matter who's listed on that list has been spoken to personally, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. I'll be happy to introduce you to the person, let you talk to them. So, from the Harvest Foundation, help build NCI to begin with, major bucks. Board of Supervisors, which was right now is the stable economic, the government system in Martinsville County, and all the rest, all that needs to just be to move us forward. What all the energy, all the excitement, all the stuff that went into make it at the very beginning, we need to rekindle that and make something good out of it now.
Yeah,
Because right now we're not getting there.
Yeah, Dr. Crabtree, your thoughts and sentiment are well, appreciated. What I'll say is that, my request is that when we do have good ideas, we leverage the governance structure of this board to get those through, right? I think that's one of the things that could be good for the people of Martinsville, is to understand that the structures that they have in place are following a governance structure, that good ideas that start with a few people or a group of people can come through a committee, get the proper, governance approvals, and then move through the next chain so we can move those things forward. I would say that the findings out of this, we had the proposal that came to the board, that came back through the committee. Once it went to committee, we're not throwing anything away, but I do want to be clear that the results of the committee that we talked about, and I don't want anybody, from the press or the media to get this unclear either, that the proposal should be treated as one concept among several, not as a fully formed or actual recommendation, right? That's what came out of committee. So what the community can lean on is that those people that are in decision-making in positions of power to make decisions are making them in a way that follows a governance structure that can be repeatable and allow for new ideas to continue through, right? So that's one thing that this committee structure did, and we got that on the table, and that's where it sits right now. The proposal should be treated as a one concept among several, not as a fully formed or actual recommendation moving forward. And also with that, the next thing is what me growing up in Martinsville, Henry County through the school systems, and then having to move away by choice, a little bit by choice, but one of the things that I always look for when I was growing up was consistency in institutions, right? When New College Institute over time has been judged against other higher ed centers, and you pull out and look at apples, we're not comparing apples to apples. We're comparing an apple to a pineapple to an orange to a lemon, right? What we want is if New College Institute is going to be judged against the other higher ed centers, I want the same resources they do. I need the same people at the table that Roanoke has. I need the same people at the table that Southwest has. And that's all we're asking. So we're not throwing anything away, but we're trying to add to level the playing field so that if I do receive a seat I know I receive a C because I'm graded against the same thing my peers are being graded against. I don't want to get a C and I'm in a lone set by myself where I'm the only one getting a C and I don't even know if everybody else is being graded. So points well taken. I will ask, the committee chair, do you have any further comments on the topic?
No, I don't.
Does it, Marcus?
No, but I want to mention, because that's exactly when we first initially had the conversation, the process was to introduce it to the board before we took it to the public, because it's a very sensitive thing. And the circumstances of which we were being inundated with information publishing kind of blurted it out ahead of time. So as a result, I apologize for that before, because the circumstances dictated a different direction. And of course, the timeline for the legislature and all that stuff. So, but that's exactly followed the exact process. It's gone from there. It's gone to the committee. He's done its wonderful due diligence and now it's pushed back to where we are. And I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I just, one thing really quick, Olivia, can you turn off the blur on the,
It may not be that, it may just be the distance.
oh, okay, okay.
Only just one quick comment, we had a discussion last meeting as well and appreciate the committee's action and work on this. I agree. I think most of us up here would agree. I'll make that assumption that we want to see it be better, move forward and be an icon in the community. I do think and really want to push the fact that this is an ongoing process as well, right? So we should always be looking for what the next best thing. You took my saying, if we do the same thing we've always done, expect different results, that's called insanity, right? We talk about that a lot in the healthcare realm, but that's what we need to be positioned for. And so adding additional board members or additional expertise to the board, I think should help promote us in that direction, but certainly we still have a charge to do and the staff still have a charge to do. And Mr. Sumner and I talk about that quite frequently, the things that we need to push forward. So we need to be a little bullheaded about it and make what we have better. That's our role.
Any other board members have any? So let's close out our workforce and academic committee report. Thank you, Olivia, and to the staff and Madam Vice Chair for the update. Before we get to the finance report, I'm remiss, my manners are a little bit off. I'm moving too fast, and we have someone that it's their first time being with us here in this session, Stacy Gordon. Love for you to give an introduction to everyone, and sorry, and pardon the non-introduction earlier.
No problem, Mr. Chair. Hi, I'm Stacy Gordon. I just joined the board about a month ago. I am the Government Affairs Director for the Virginia Manufacturers Association. We are very grateful for all the good work you guys are doing. I'm really excited for this new direction you guys are looking into to help address our workforce needs and better serve our students. Looking forward to getting caught up on everything and all the new initiatives and learning about NCI and hopefully contributing in the best way I can. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Happy to be here.
Want to make sure we covered that. So now we'll go to our finance report and Mr. Perlman, will you be heading that up?
Yeah.
With the support of,
I'm sorry, I guess I'm confused. Is there action to take on this or is this just a report out?
yes, just a
Okay,
report up, yes.
okay. I've got it. Are you gonna put anything up or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Just very briefly, for sake of time, from a finance perspective, I met with the team and committee earlier in the week, last week. From a finance perspective, very good shape. Actually, the good news is under budget and in good shape. There's not a lot of highlights to go through. I just say, think about it like we're 40% through the year through the end of November, and most of the spending to date is in the 30% range. So Joe and the staff have been doing a great job of watching expenses, not spending things before it actually needs to be spent. They've held back on a couple of, positions, not filling those, just waiting to kind of see the direction of things. And that's put them in good shape from a budget spending standpoint.
Okay. So on budget, okay.
That's all the good news.
Any questions from the board on anything? Yes.
I was wondering if Dr. Delegate Phillips would like to speak, he may have something to go to. So he's here, so we don't get that very often.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna go to the appropriations meeting this week. So, but first of all, thank all of you for serving. Obviously, I represent Martinsville, Erie County, Pennsylvania County, so that's home for me, more in Martinsville, and more Hospital, even, a friend there at Laurel Park. We always talk about that. But you listen, I mean, I think we all have the same goal. Obviously, you know, NCI, being raised in that community has been a little bit of a football over the years, but it's probably not been always treated fairly or looked upon in the way it should be. There's been significant investment that's pulled here and there, and then it's become a little political and all the different things that happens, right? But what I would say is I really do think everyone in this room has the best interest for NCI at heart. When I say that, what I mean is I think everyone wants to see it fulfill its highest and best use, be the most productive that it can be. There may be disagreement on what that looks like and what the end game is. But that's why you have committees like this and you go through this process. I know sometimes it's uncomfortable and there are people with real things at risk and stake, you know, jobs, different things like that that can be affected depending on the decisions you make. So I know you take that charge very seriously, and I appreciate that. I appreciate all of your service in that endeavor. Secondly, I do say, I did not understand that your board makeup was like that. I think that's a great idea. I think that makes all the sense in the world. That should have been done frankly a long, long time ago. And I'm Mr. Hall, I don't know why that wasn't something you sent me a long time ago when I put bills on. I will also say, since my name sometimes gets drug into this thing, which is just part of being in politics, that, you know, back when the governor first pulled the funding from NCI, I did put a budget amendment in to restore it. So the Delegate Carr, who's more senior than I am and was in the majority. So when I got up to talk to appropriations, I said, please support her amendment. And thankfully they did, because I knew they were past hers, not past mine anyway. So I've certainly tried to be a supporter. I've met with Joe and Olivia, I don't even know how many times, but quite a few times, to talk about differing opportunities. This past year, I know we sat down with the president of Avery University in Danville. We also had Delegate David Reed reach out about some things with George Mason. Things got weird political again, which is beyond what this little fellow right here from Martinsville can handle. I can't help what goes on above my pay grade. But there has been opportunity and people that are interested in partnering with NCI, doing good things with NCI. I talk to all of them. It's my job. I represent that area, right? And so if they reach out, I talk to them. If someone has a good idea, I talk to them. Someone may have a bad idea. I'm still gonna listen to it. Right? That's what we do. I know most all of you. I know most all of you very well. And like I say again, I do appreciate the work that you guys do, and I do think you take it serious, and I think this is helpful. You know, sometimes the best outcomes come from some difficult processes, but I think that Joe does a wonderful job. I count Joe as a friend. Olivia and I serve on multiple boards. I count her as a friend as well, many of their staff members. And so I want to see NCI as a representative of that area reach its fullest and highest potential. Joe, like the EDC, I meet with them often. That's something I would love to coordinate. I think that's a sad commentary that you guys share the same building and there's no cooperation or coordination. That doesn't make sense to me, frankly. And I think that needs to be fixed. I'll be happy to work with you on that. I met with them twice this past week about some economic things in Henry County myself. And I'm the EDA chair of the city of Martinsville. And I know Eric Payne and I were trying to set up a meeting and things got busy and now we're here. But you know, there are opportunities there to do things with NCI. One of the things, and I'll leave it at this, I don't know that what we could do with it or what we could with it, is what we want to discuss. But we can actually even do bonds for higher education centers through IDAs and EDAs, which is something if there were a need for, something several of my EDA board members are sitting here, 1, 2, 3. And so, you know, whatever we can do to partner, I want to partner with you. We want to do the right thing. We want to do the best thing. And we know you guys are doing the best you can to figure that out. So thank you for your time. And I really appreciate you allowing me a couple minutes to say it. So thank you. Got any questions for me? You good?
No, Delegate Phillips, thank you for your commentary. This is great. Thanks for your attendance and thank you for your support. And sorry, not yielding the floor early.
That's good.
but appreciate the
Yeah,
opportunity.
no problem. Thank you. Take
Thank you,
care.
Eric. Thank you.
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I have just a moment.
yes, you.
We have a guest with us, Cindy Brittany Shaw. She is our Department of Planning and Budget Analyst. She is with the section on education and transportation. She is the one who helps us with all of our policy that's related to our budget and the appropriations. So I just wanted to welcome her and introduce her to you all.
Thank you. Do you have any words? Delegate Bowler, we know you have, a time crunch. Turn it over to you for the marketing outreach report.
Thank you. I'm gonna stay and just deal with the chairman later. This is a duty too. Okay, so for the marketing and outreach report, you all should have copies within your folders. I'll give you a moment to get there. At the top here, you'll see that during our last NCI Board of Directors meeting back in November, Chairman Jones did direct the committee to estimate the cost and timeline for changing NCI's name. So we have gone ahead at the NCI management team. They went ahead, inventoried all of the marketing branding assets that NCI has across the entire institution and 3 facilities. They, as you can see here in the initial table, you will see what the estimated total is there. And then they went ahead also to kind of parse out those high priority, medium priority, and low priority items that we would need to prioritize, in which we should prioritize them and the cost for those. And one of the most important parts, aside from the money, of course, is the timeline. And you will see that on the second page. There's a proposed timeline on what this would look like if we are to engage in a name change for the institution. We would be about a year and 4 or 5 months out if we are to engage in this process. I think it's pretty well outlined in the report, but I'm here to take any questions, comments, or concerns should we have that.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I got, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much.
I tried. In session mode.
Ren, can you hear us? Because we're up for the governance report. If you or Mr. Stone could give that, Ren, okay. How you doing, sir?
Hello. How are y'all?
Hey, Rand.
I'm sorry, my phone locked as soon as I said hey. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can see me. Okay, perfect. All right. Hey guys. Yeah, so governance report. Well, we had can you hear me?
Are you
Yeah.
driving?
You driving?
No, I'm sitting right here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in a car. But no, it's not a Tesla. Yeah. No, I'm just sitting. But governance report. Chairman Jones reached out and said if we could look at updating our like foundational documents, our policy documents type things, like our articles and our bylaws and our ethics policies, all of the sort of foundational ones that we take a look at. Some are much older, not necessarily out of date, just older, and they should just sort of be looked over and refreshed, brought into a newer time. And then some have been, looked over as recently as I think 2 years ago and just need to go into the same sort of review. So I laid out just a plan to the request was, please tell us your plan about how you can do this. And so we were able to send over a timeline to Chairman Jones saying if we were sort of directed to complete this, here's the look of the next 4 months. And so hopefully we would be able to gather together as far as a committee, review everything, bring back some changes, options, and then give you guys like a packet of here's what we recommend. And that would be shooting for like June, I believe. I think that information was shared with you all in the packet.
Yes, it was.
So that's what the governance committee would be seeking to do if instructed.
Okay. Stone, did you have any comments on this as well?
No, I think Delvin Williams was a great job presenting that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Delegate Williams. Consider that the end of your report with no questions. Thank you.
Now, I would like to say, since we're all kind of looking at a lot of different things at the same time, you know, some of these documents that we'll be working on are foundational. Some of the other committees are working on like name change possibilities. So like, we're going to have to work those in together. And just, I'm asking everybody to be mindful if there's like a large change and it needs to be changed in the documents I'm working on too, somebody let me know, you know?
Right. That is fair. Delegate Williams.
Trickle down.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
All right. We are at the point where I'll give my chair's report. And one of the things I'm going to do in the structure I'm going to take for my chair's report is just to reiterate and maybe substantiate some follow-on actions. I really appreciate all the committees getting together to look into the details of a lot of things. It seems that we're becoming a lot more data-driven, whether it's from the finances or the data that we are producing to defend our actions on a workforce and academic committee reports, even our marketing and outreach report, and then our governor's report. So the first thing I would say is just appreciate the call to action on that. And for each of the, so working my way from the bottom up, Ren, Delegate Williams, please, take the action to continue to work and actuate the plan that you laid out. I think, a review and continue to look at, governance and to make sure that we're updating policies and things that, how we make decisions is one of the integral things that the community relies upon us on. I talked about it earlier. And for us to continue to work on that. And when we see something that's off or amiss, make sure that we're correcting that. So these processes and procedures can live on beyond us. So the
I
plan.
also just, Mr. Chair, it sort of popped up right when you were speaking. Some of these documents often have like mission statements. We're not being asked to address those kind of things. We're just keeping it legal is what I'm thinking, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And, the board, you set this out for the board for input, but I think your proposed approach and timeline is sufficient. So I want to say, job well done on that and continue to move forward on that.
Okay, will do. Yes.
All right. So also, from a perspective of when we looked at our marketing and outreach report, and speaking with a lot of people in the community, and I received a lot of phone calls about a couple different things, right? And I think one of the things that keeps coming up is New College Institute as a name. I think we really need to do a serious look at that. We have the information, the foundational information before us that the Marketing and Outreach Committee, I think we need to begin the next steps of socializing that and really understanding what that can be and some naming options. Because I do think over time, New College Institute has provided the community a wrong, a misunderstanding of what we're here to do. Right. And it follows us in budget language. It follows us throughout the history. And I think that now that we've looked at the cost, I think we really should put some thought around what that actually could look like. What are some actual names and how that could be, communicated and how the community would take into that. So, yes.
Does that require a legislative change?
I heard mixed things, which is why in the marketing reports timeline, it has a, we can do the stop. This is where we're going and the rebranding we need to do now, and then it needed 2027 session is when we can amend that. Adam might have more insight. I've heard from some legislative staff that, like Gen Edge, for example, on the books is still AL Copod manufacturing extension. That they do business at.
So the legal entity doesn't change, but the colloquial name does.
Right, and I've seen some other things, like whenever an organization or a state agency had other things to change in the code, they'll also just change their name while they're at it. Which is like the Autism Council this year is now like the Autism Commission. So that's still trying to figure all that out.
Okay.
That's a great question, but on that topic, I do think we take those next steps to continue to do that due diligence and really think about the branding, because I do think that would go a long way with the community, really understanding who we are and what we're there to do. It's a lot in your name, right? So thanks for the marketing and outreach committee for taking that action, but I would continue to press and want to see updates on, the next steps and the legal ramifications and the possibilities of what that could be. And, how we would gain some input from the community as well on that topic.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question
Yes, sir.
or statement? Do you foresee that in case of a rebranding, that we would maybe potentially contract some of that mind meld out to a third party?
So I think that's a great recommendation and option too.
Actually, it's confusing in the marketing report. It says two different things, so I was just clarifying if that was the direction. And if it's not, then, I'm just one person, but. And I would just dial it back to say, in business, in life, I mean, structure follows strategy. So if we're gonna rebrand our business, so to speak, I think we need to be clear about what our strategy is. Because a name change or a tag to the name, it's all related, right? It's how the public perceives you. So it might actually give us an opportunity to do some more. It would not be navel gazing. It might be some productive work to sit in a room and talk about that. I was talking to Delegate Bowling about this before she left. And it just seems to me like having someone help us with this and facilitate it might be beneficial than having everyone sort of. We got to figure out what the brand means, right? Before we change the name.
Right.
So I would agree with what he just said. Usually when you do a rebrand, it's like a realignment with a certain mission or mission statement. So if it kind of changes fundamentally what the organization and stands for. So I would really maybe it's just because I'm new and this is my first meeting, but I would really actually learn a little bit more about what the mission is and what the goal is. And then I think then we can start about renaming, but I think we shouldn't be premature in it.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we have to see play out every session. So there's a couple different layers of what New College is and what people look to it to do, right? So there's goals and there's ambitious statements, but there's also the code that is written for us. So I think one of the things that the current name does, it doesn't correctly align with the Code of Virginia that established it, right? So community colleges, the code says you are a community college that does these things. Then you have said name community college. You have universities with a code to be a university, said name university. I think one of the things that we need to be sure in the marketing outreach is that as the code is established by the General Assembly and what's established as our code, the name follows suit with that and doesn't necessarily follow. It needs to be in line with the brand and the strategy, but I want to make sure that it's really, really tied to the code, because I think that gives us a better understanding to the community that when legislators vote on things and things show up in the community, there's nobody in Martinsville that says, what is the Virginia Museum of Natural History supposed to do? Right? And how do they get money? And why do they get money? And when I walk in, what am I going to see at a Virginia Museum of Natural History? you wouldn't see a car show. Right? So I want to make sure that if the code says Virginia Museum of Natural History is preserve, natural history that is found across the world and make that in display for kids of the South Side that they can see that. I want to make sure that if we're called New College Institute, it actually matches with the code, and if we're going to change the brand. So I think it's on point with what you're saying. We're going to need help. We need to make sure that we don't precede a name preceding the actual code of what we're here to do, and we make sure that all lines up. So I'm in violent agreement with both of you, and I just want to make sure that my goal is to start focusing on the code. What is the law and how we're established? If we see updates that are needed to the code, we make those recommendations here so our General Assembly brethren can go out and make those changes in the code. Mr. Lane.
Thank you, Eric. Just out of curiosity, I don't know if anybody's at the board when the school started, when NCI started, to your point about the code. Just for clarity, the other higher ed centers have higher ed center in their name. We do not.
Right.
Does anybody know, did we do that because we want to be different?
No,
Nobody knows.
no, I know what happened. I'll take a crack at it, and I think as sometimes can happen in session, ideas come, they catch wind, and you got to get something down on paper to get a budget line attached to it. And
College did.
New College Institute, and we'll change the name when we get back to it. So Olivia, how close am I to?
Back when Harvest had their pledge grant, and they wanted a university, and so it was basically a wish that we would become a new college, and it's confused everyone since. That was placeholder.
But to Mr. Dickens and Ms. Gordon's points, we don't need to get a brand and strategy name and get focused on the name without really understanding what the mission and what the strategy is, because that is on brand with what good strategy and organizational change management is meant to do. So I really appreciate that comment.
Thank you for the history. Interesting.
Yeah. I'll just echo that. The marketing comments on needing the mission, it's just to echo. Jay's gone. Okay. Yeah.
Also, as a part of my report, kind of final statements before we move on to the executive director's report, because I think it's less talking with me and Joe, giving you the floor to interface with the board is what we're here for. Is Virginia is one of those unique states where there's a constant state of change. We're in that state of change right now, so I know that there are a lot of people that have to get educated on what New College is or what it's going to be. So but I'm happy to see that there's been a lot of calls and a lot of folks like Delegate Phillips who have been supportive. It seems like over the last 3 years, even though there's been a lot of conversation about New College Institute, the good thing is there's been a lot of conversation about New College Institute. And since I've been on the board and being one of the senior, from a tenure perspective, being on the board, it's been something that has been talked about every session that I've been here. So as we continue to move, one of the things that you can do is you can fall out of conversation. So Joe, I'll turn it over to you at this point in time to give your executive director's report, because I do want to have my talking points ready to hear the good things and maybe not even the bad, some bad things that might be happening in New College Institute. But I'd like for you to give the floor to you at this point to give that to the board at this time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for this opportunity to meet you. Lovely to be in the building in Richmond. So thank you for this chance. We always like to start these with a little bit of a highlight and some of our staff. So we want to welcome one of our newest members, Ms. Wanda Red. She's our customer service specialist. If you haven't had the opportunity to meet and interact with Ms. Wanda, highly encourage you to do so. You're walking in the front door, she's gonna greet you, she's gonna ask where you need to go, she's gonna show you how to get there. And if you go the wrong way, she's gonna turn you around and point you in the right direction. So we are very grateful, very excited to have Ms. Wanda on the team. Just want to give a shout out to her. Upcoming reports, the board always asks for any upcoming reports. The only one within this last quarter, this quarter, was the HE16. It is a, correct me if I'm using the correct terms here, please finance team, but it is a balance declaring any type of offsets or adjustments that might be needed. That was due on January 16th, however, it was submitted about a week and a half prior to the deadline. Recap on some wins for quarter two. Some of these you may be familiar with. We met about a month and a half ago. Some of these still fall within that, but some of them are new. Our public safety and criminal justice program just continues to grow. One of the things that we've done new in the last year is partnering with the Piedmont Regional Criminal Justice Training Academy to look at, instead of always focusing on the ongoing programs, are there standalone certifications that add to upskill or career progression? Perhaps these are 8-hour certifications, perhaps these are 40-hour certifications, but these are certifications that generally law enforcement, public safety personnel would have to look elsewhere for. We're talking overnight travel, per diem, things of that nature. So instead of partnering with them, we were able to facilitate enough need throughout the region to justify bringing the experts in. So within quarter two, we've had 2 completed so far. One of them was in regards to officer health, wellness, and resilience, required training that's necessary for public safety and law enforcement officers on a recurring basis. The other one was regarding interrogation. It's a certification and training that's necessary for an individual within public safety and law enforcement to be qualified in order to take that next step as far as the interrogation aspect of law enforcement. In those trainings, we were proud to say that there were 49 total certifications awarded, and it represented 10 different regional agencies within public safety and law enforcement. And exciting to see what we're doing next with that. We have some coming up that I'll share with you on the next slide, but we're just getting started on those. So in addition to our ongoing program partnership that we have, as far as the Milo, I'm losing my word, I'm not looking for here, our Milo simulation training, where we teach the law enforcement and public safety personnel the proper utilization of firearms, when to use the firearm, when to use verbal commands instead of the firearm, the proper way to approach a situation which may or may not require a firearm. So that's our ongoing program where we regularly have students that will come in and utilize that. So we will continue that, but we will also continue with these standalone certifications that are necessary for those career progressions. In addition to that, we have partnered with the public safety team to submit a grant in partnership with Piedmont, and that is for equipment. Primarily, that is for health and wellness and fitness equipment. It was submitted to the Gary Sinise Foundation, an actor who has prioritized supporting public safety and veterans. Last week, I'll tell you, we began developing a new program with the Piedmont group. It is for animal control officer training. We're going to utilize a combination of personnel, subject matter experts, and our state-of-the-art technology. Our team is working with Piedmont Group and with local Henry County Sheriff's Office teams, and we are capturing footage, and we're creating simulations and trainings which will allow them to create hybrid offerings as well as immersive simulation training experience for animal control. Moving forward in the last quarter, testing center. We are now officially accredited to offer the ETS Parapro assessment. This is the assessment that's necessary for education professionals who wish to serve in their role of a paraprofessional within a classroom. This was done at the request of various school systems and Longwood partnership. We see this as just continuing to build out that pipeline on both ends, supporting education, whether it be a paraprofessional, whether it be a teacher's assistant, whether it be a teacher, or whether it be a higher education instructor. So we're incredibly proud of that. We're accredited to that. We look to launch that within the next quarter. Additionally, during the last quarter, we're also accredited to offer the ACT Work Keys assessment. This is kind of a career and aptitude assessment. It's primarily focusing on the more vocational aspect of assessing, but we were requested to pursue the opportunity to offer this by one of our partners, the Department of Aging and Rehabilitation Services, DARS. We have a great history, great partnership with them, whether it be internships, whether it be training, whether it be professional development. And so the last one they've asked us to look at would be if we could offer the ACT
to students within their population. So we sought that accreditation. It was a minimal cost, and when I say minimal, a couple of $100, it was more about making sure that all of your operations are in order. So it includes things such as submitting plans for site visits, submitting documentation, showing internal control, showing state reports, showing that you have everything that's necessary to maintain the integrity and deliver the assessment, no matter where you are and no matter who walks in that door. We look to launch that again for the first time in the next quarter, and we received the accreditation of that in Q2. So you should hopefully start to see that showing up in some of the testing center metrics as we roll that out. Next one, it's been a big quarter for the testing center. We were accepted into the National College Testing Association. This is one of the initiatives that was outlined as part of our goals to accomplish in 2026. So we're on track to do that. First, we have to apply to be accepted into this organization, and then we have to apply to become accredited. This is the organization that I've shared with the board in the past. If you are a 100% online student and you are taking a class that requires a proctored exam, let's say your final exam must be proctored in some capacity. If you're an online student, generally you log into your online classroom, and when the time comes for you to schedule that final exam, you click on the link and it gives you a list or a map, and you can locate the one next to you. That is a revenue generating opportunity. This gives us the opportunity to show up on that list and that map for our region. So we're excited for that. It also gives us yet one more offering when we're exploring new partnerships with colleges and universities. We now have a service that we can offer to those residents of Martinsville, Henry County that may be entirely 100% online, but they just need that one session to come in and take a couple hours of a proctored exam. Lastly, our fall Saturday offerings for Praxis continue to fill up. So in the spring, based on that success, one thing I'll share with you is that we're going to continue to expand our Saturday offerings, and we're even exploring evening offerings. The Praxis, as a reminder, is the certification that is required, kind of the last step, so to speak, for a fully certified educator to step foot in the classroom as the lead instructor. We pursued that offering and were accredited to offer it based on a specific request from Longwood University. We launched it in September of 2024, and it has been, we are struggling to figure out where else can we offer Praxis, because it's maxing out. We're getting constant requests. Can you add another day to the calendar? We're easily in the hundreds on the Praxis offerings. So each one of those certifications that we offer represents a teacher that is now certified to teach in a classroom. So in addition to our Longwood graduates, we are assisting those that are already in the career field that are looking to perhaps move from, say, an elementary to a middle school, or maybe from a math class to a science class. We offer those options for them to do so.
Joe, quick
Yes.
question on the testing center. The testing center is not in the bowling building, but in the Kings.
That's correct. It is in King Hall. Yes, sir.
And with Saturday and people coming to take, especially with the National College Testing Association, full Saturday offerings, and you're saying these have been full.
Yes, sir.
So I think one of the things that would be helpful is data around how many people are that's foot traffic where people have to actually come and park, right? And get out, take a test, and they're probably hungry, thirsty, or something afterwards. Is there opportunities now with the community, local businesses to say, hey, there's an opportunity for folks that are taking this exam, they get a discount or something, right? To build on some of the sentiments earlier about how do we connect to the community when we create foot traffic? Speaking to some of the community leaders, I think that's an area that they want to see that connection, right? They want to see if this is a testing center, is that testing center generating downtown Martinsville foot traffic, on a continuous basis of people who might have come from Rocky Mount, somebody might have came from Patrick Springs, somebody that might have come from Axton, somebody that may have came from Chatham, right to our testing center. That's still a 35 or 45-minute drive back home. What keeps them? I see this as something for you to draw a box around and start providing some data. If we could capture data of like someone visit a testing center and then they had something in their hand to get a coupon to go to the ground floor to get a cup of coffee. We as a board, I think economic development, that's a small seed to be planted. But if we're generating foot traffic, I would like to see I don't know about other board members, but I would like to see some ideas on how we are contributing to that downtown economy. Do you have any insights if folks have said anything like that? If business owners came to you and said, hey, a whole practice exam group came in and sat here after the exam, do you have any examples of anything like that?
I do not have any, I don't know if the staff has any, but what I can tell you is that we have a very, very robust partnership with our local chamber of commerce.
Okay.
And they've been incredible partners. They regularly offer different types of incentives for uptown retailers, whether it be vouchers, whether it be discounts. So I think there's a prime opportunity. Yes, sir. And I will absolutely reach out and connect to the local chamber of commerce and see if there's an opportunity for us to perhaps coordinate something.
I think what we want to see and hear about is if the local chamber, if they're doing those things, what are those programs? And, is that in place? And if they're in place with who, right? Because I want to be able to see measurement on the economic impact that we're having on uptown, specifically if we're adding all of these services to a testing center that's starting to become more of an operational thing, right? It's not, from the way you're describing this isn't a test once a quarter. It's people coming to pretty much almost the central spot of downtown outside of the courthouse, right? It's so trying to figure out, what that looks like.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And you referenced the data as far as the foot traffic. We do capture that from all our buildings. I will say King Hall is designed with an incredible kind of access checkpoint upon entry. So even myself, I don't make it past the front desk without signing in, and I don't walk out without signing out. Our security team is pretty rigid on that. So I can get all that data to you as far as number of foot traffic, and then the testing is information that we track regularly.
Sure.
I would echo that. One of the things I think I would like to see, you've got some numbers here with the public safety and criminal justice, maybe a quarterly count of how many tests we're taking, that type of thing, so we can see some of that traffic and, some of the folks that are sitting here today can help augment some of that traffic, and that may be very small feet sometime as well, but, that I feel like an issue number for us to have.
Yes, sir.
Something we can go out in the community and talk about. That, what's NCI doing? We generated 350 new people coming to Martinsville that have never been here before. Wow. So, or whatever that number is.
How many days are the centers operational?
The testing center is open Monday through Friday, and then we average, sometimes we do one Saturday a month, sometimes 2 Saturdays a month as we look to increase. In the spring, what we're going to explore is perhaps maybe 2 evenings as well.
And those are generally full, each of those sessions?
For the practice, yes, and we offer a variety of different tests.
Yeah.
Praxis kind of restricts it to a specific number, so we can only offer 6 Praxis exams per session. That's not per day, that's per session. And so that's builds up pretty quickly, yes, ma'am.
And nursing, are we doing NCLEX yet?
Not yet, sir. It is on the list though. Yes, sir.
To operate the testing center, we have like a designated director for that, and what's the full-time equivalent for operating the center?
So we have Ms. Stacy Davis, who is a full-time employee. She is the testing center coordinator administrator, and also the administrator of King Hall. And then we also staff the building with a part-time security and a part-time custodian. The Martinsville City's adult ed is also in the basement. And I'll just say that represents also a revenue generating opportunities for that here. My apologies, Paul. Okay, Howard. Where'd it go? Apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
What, are we still online though? Yeah.
Are you guys calling about me?
Just wonder if you could-
Just keep your seatbelt on.
You can sit it on this one here about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a key out of ignition, Rand.
Yeah.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
Joe, if it's still
Right.
presenting here, you can present from here. I can get that one up. I think we have the packet that we can follow along with you.
Okay, are we still on YouTube?
And that's where it's going.
Oh, okay.
So say 5-minute recess, 5-minute recess.
5 minutes.
Did somebody summarize?
Yeah, the power went
Power.
down on the laptop and they have to bring it back up.
5-minute recess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phones, go down, what is it?
How you doing?
My coworkers were like, emailing me like, yeah, no, don't touch this, we don't have. Yeah, so, I like, Verizon, I never looked at it. I looked up, I don't know how.
Crazy. No, we are, we stay there. Yes. Kind of, I don't know wrong. Shut down the town at 7 o'clock. All the people, you go in and shop for them. We did that. 2 Thursdays, Thursdays. So this, I would go lobby. So we good.
No text.
No text. Okay. No, yeah. You take it over.
I think that's, you know, you think you're gonna do better for the application, right?
Yes.
And I know a lot of people who think Texas is like best thing to play baseball.
A lot of country, a lot of things, a lot of independent,
A lot of cowboy, a lot of country music.
What's the name?
Yeah, right.
So we got a bad connection here.
Well, I think the powers.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't have got. Oh.
You know what's going on. I know, I need to tell her. I'm wearing white cap now.
Yeah.
So then why?
I don't know.
We're gonna be. That's actually pretty very.
Wait, Margaret, we'll be all right. We haven't been on the stage.
Yeah, I work.
This is from 11:30.
No, I'm still.
Okay. First thing I think about that, yeah.
Yes.
That part was, you know.
And I didn't say it back to you.
Before you start, so.
I was like, when I saw her, I was like, it is.
It's fine.
It's today.
Yeah.
It's a full week.
Yeah.
Much of.
And what are-
I also. That's not.
Richmond, yeah, I'm in the city.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
You know, when you were 14 days.
oh, yeah, yeah. I don't, I've worked here for, yeah, state,
Yeah.
so I worked for the state, actually for 7 years.
Oh, wow. It's Bill, then I put it and I said, okay, maybe I'll do a letter with them and say, you know, and we have Bill as well.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. We're keeping. Well, yeah, that's it. Whole different. Whole different case. Filed the bill on it.
Oh.
Back. So I wanted to. And send a little letter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring the car, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
From my side. He gave me. Indian student, they robbed, we come to. Lost in that. She got. The GPS, what do you do? This is so bad for the education.
Yes, everybody, yes.
People are.
Doctors, I mean, they can't get.
And then you have all.
Residencies, yeah, I mean.
Education and all. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I found different ways to legislate.
Yeah.
I don't know. All the way from meeting with an agency and technical case.
Yeah, so we.
No, with the different patient, I think.
They don't have any additional.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to, that's the thing, they have
I don't know.
to.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you. I don't have it, so it's the opposite. The agency here.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
What you get about that?
Yeah.
Agency.
I'm very interested to just.
Yeah, yeah. I mean. We can see that too.
No, we're good, we're good, he's up. Oh, Olivia.
Yeah, I can work this.
If you put the lid, you turn it, was that lid up?
I'm here sitting doing, he's really like.
Sorry, you're.
Usually that's what my side is like, oh, sorry, that's that. I don't think that's there. I was just following. I was just.
What? No.
Yeah.
In good shape. No, it's hopefully.
Olivia. Yeah.
I broke it. I broke it again? Okay, we'll just go. It'll come back. Think we're good? Are you good? We can follow along on the paper.
Yeah,
We can follow along.
yeah.
We don't have to see it.
Okay, was that?
Slide one.
All right, continuing on to our quarter two wins, shared with the board before, the chair here in whole, NCI was named a SWAM champion for 2026. SWAM standing for Small Women and Minority Owned Businesses. So the state set certain levels where they would anticipate that their expectation is that you conduct business with the best vendor possible, but in every option that you can, try to utilize small women and minority owned businesses. We had the highest rate of expenditures with the, within SWAM, and that's a huge testament to our finance team and our procurement team. So it was great recognition. I want to give a shout out to Joanne on that. She's really kind of the magic that makes it happen, going through with a fine tooth comb on every single purchase request. Doesn't matter if it is a paperclip or if it is, whatever it might be, she's gonna ask those questions. Does it meet the SWAM qualifications? Is it a micro vendor? Is it approved for state government, state agency purchases? So just want to give a shout out to the finance team, just incredible for that. Gives a nice plaque and did a nice little, acknowledgement of that. Additionally, EduTech, our EduTech program, just as a reminder, is, we have a collection of technology resources, mostly focused around STEM and robotics, ranging from the elementary level up to the high school level. We bring in educators and we train them on how to utilize the equipment, and then we go out and we deploy it to the schools for a semester at a time. And then we go in and we do kind of guest teaching spots as well. We were excited because this year we were able to expand into Franklin County, and that represented 52 new STEM students that are utilizing this equipment on a daily basis, as well as 31 new robotics students. Speaking of robotics, our robotics teams that we host here at NCI, the STAGs, which is our high school robotics team, back in the fall, I shared with you, but it does fall within the quarter two recap. So they were named the Blue Ridge Brawl Champions. That is competition where they travel to during the off season and compete against various teams, and they won the entire championship or awarded with a very nice banner. Our robotics teams have a legacy of winning. The STAGs have been to state and national championships several times in the past, and I believe we're on a great trajectory to find our way back there again. Additionally, we were able to help with Henry County schools to create a new first Lego League team. It's hosted there in our Fayette Lab. The Fayette Lab also hosts the Magna Vista robotics team. And I just gotta give just a shout out to Henry County Schools for being just such a phenomenal partner, just consistently checking in with us. Hey, is there anything that we can do together? And then, we always kind of land on the STEM and the elementary level. Because what we're looking to do is we're looking to supplement what exists. You heard earlier from Olivia, we don't want to compete. We know there's a great GoTech program that the schools are already using, so we don't have any desire to compete with that. But we look to address the elementary level, building that pipeline in. So the first Lego League team will start this semester. If you happen to be on Fayette Street anytime, Monday through Thursday in the evenings, occasionally on a Saturday, if you see cars at Fayette Lab, the lights are on, kids are in there playing with robots. They may be anywhere from second grade up to a high school senior. I ask you, pop in, give them 5-10 minutes, just ask what they're working on. It will amaze you what these students are capable of doing. Moving on to Southern Piedmont Technology Council, I mentioned to you previous gathering, but again, similar story, followed in quarter two. The STAGS team were named as the 2025 Student Innovators by the Southern Piedmont Technology Council. It was a very nice awards banquet that was held in ILR, and our team attended and were presented with their award. The Innovator Award was primarily focused on how the team is using new and innovative methods to continue recruiting and building the pipeline to include things such as outreach to these younger teams. And lastly, K-12 internships at NCI. This is very exciting for us. You've heard me mention several times, we're increasing kind of our opportunities for K-12, and this represents a very small step, but a very significant step for us. So in the fall, we partnered with Henry County School, and we had student interns from high school that report to us for half a day. We had one within the finance department, and then we had one within the High Bay Industrial Area Department. It was a great success, and this semester we have five. Sorry, we started with 6. One had schedule change. We have 5. Those are located within, again, the industrial high bay area, the finance department, customer service, marketing and outreach, and the events and lecture hall. They come to us for half a day. They are working just as if it is a real job. And it has been a great experience for us. We look to continue to grow that.
Joe, on this slide, one thing I commend you on all the Q2 wins recap. One thing I would ask that maybe you could bring forward that I think sometimes gets lost in this is who are our partnerships with, right? Who has inked a deal with us, right?
Sure.
It's almost like a logo page, right? So as people continue to come, it's not forgotten upon that we have a partnership with Gen Edge, that we have a partnership with the Minority Business Council, that we have a partnership with, as you get logos, we want to see, the logos. I want to see the logos that we are getting in the partnerships, the maturity of those, the status of them, right? If something's expiring, the board needs to know how we can help you, keep those partnerships growing, but also protect the base, right? If we have a partnership today, we want to make sure that we have a partnership tomorrow. And if the partnership is becoming stale or we need to engage, one of the committees can engage on your behalf to figure out how we can partner with them, right? So just a standing, notification of like who our partners are. Something to look into, not necessarily a task, but something maybe as you have time, again, trying to get more data driven. What metrics and statistics from our partnerships are we gaining that we can start doing some modeling, right? Because I think you have some pretty unique, the one thing about higher ed centers, they present an opportunity to create a unique partnership in unique spaces, but it's lost if we can't share the information of what happened so that someone in South Boston or someone in, Henrico or someone in another part of the state to say, hey, look at what NCI was able to do with this particular partnership. They got some data. Let me model that data and see if I could do the same thing, right? So not a critique, just something else to kind of continue to push yourself forward. Because as we, so how many partners do we have? What is the age of the relationship? And then red, yellow, green, be honest with us. How's the partnership going? And then in the future, maybe we can, we'll think about this. Maybe we could think about putting our heads together. What can we glean from those relationships that we can model that helps the state understand better at a data level what's going on in NCI? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We do have a partnership tracker.
There you go.
So I can certainly make that available. That'll be something I can work in, data every meeting. In addition, I'll just share with you, mentioning the partners and the logos. One thing that I've tasked the marketing team with this year is within the ballroom building, let's identify a very prominent display area where we can explore maybe a partner display wall. If you've ever visited the Roanoke Higher Ed Center, when you first walk in their building, there's a beautiful partner display wall where they have standoffs of the logos, so as partnerships come and go, it's a very simple process to switch those out, but it's a great way to acknowledge your partnerships, whether it's somebody that's in that building every day or whether somebody's visiting the building for the first time. It really just stands out to you when you walk in. That's what this organization is about. These are the groups they work with. So yes, sir, would very much love to see that happen. And I will get all that to you. I can also go as far as letting share a template that can all use with you so that you can kind of see what the expectations are. And if there's any input from the board as far as we want you to specifically track this and this, we can add that into the MOUs.
Yeah, maybe we could create a location where we can surface the MOUs if needed, if somebody just needs it, but just high level, like who are our partners with? You know, you put up some things like some of these things that are coming through the testing centers. I don't want it to get away that we are forming and forging partnerships, right? And who are they? And you know, you're doing a great job with that. I just want to make sure that we're accurately giving the board a true depiction of what that looks like. So we can start asking, you know, once we see it, right? And once we may see some high level data sets, we could start asking questions of it, right? You know, board GPT style, right? You know, glean some insights from the stuff that we're doing so we can share it. I want to share this information with other centers in other parts of Virginia. Because I think what we're doing is unique enough that nobody's replicating it. And it might be something that we can share across. So lofty goal, but at the minimum, you know, who are our partners on a consistent basis? And if we add one, update the logo board.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Every time I ask a question.
Yeah,
when I ask them.
projects, things moving forward for you. Those top 4 goals, kind of remain consistent with the last time that we had met. And the way we're gonna make those happen, you can see there below, solidify some pending MOUs. We do have some, so it's kind of perfect timing there, Chairman Jones. We have some that are, in the works, so to speak, where we're still negotiating back and forth, figuring out how can we work together. We're going to continue working on grant applications with Piedmont Regional Criminal Justice Training Academy. Again, we've got a great partner there, is very eager to do as much as possible with us, and we've seen the results of that. VIPSI, you know, I'll take a moment here. The former chairman, Mr. Hall, is in the room, and you may or may not know, Mr. Hall, I don't always see eye to eye. But I just gotta say, Mr. Hall has put us in touch with VIPSI and met with Joe Benevento this morning. There's some great opportunities for us to continue working with VIPSI. In the past, you know, we've had some great opportunities with VIPSI through public safety and law enforcement. Again, falling back on the simulation aspect of what we've done with the training there. And so, meeting with Mr. Benevento this morning, he shared kind of some of the initiatives that we'll be rolling out from VIPSI on a statewide level. And we even went so far as to explore specifically how NCI might be a part of that and even be a catalyst for the region and bringing some of what VIPSI is doing to the area. So excited to share more about that, but it's very early on in the infancy, so a little premature to get too far into the details, but excited about that. Development of the ACL program, I mentioned the animal control officers and mentioned the National Testing Association. We do have a request from a regional manufacturer to develop a custom industrial technician training program. We're currently working on that. That local manufacturer has asked to kind of remain in the background, so to speak, so I don't want to blast their logo all over there for you. But it's a pretty significant manufacturer within our region. They've come to us and said, you know, we're not looking for a standardized training. What we're looking for is basically an assessment of our team and then customized training designed specifically for that team based on those deficiencies determined by the assessment.
And you said it's confidential?
Out of respect to the partners, they've, because I can share one-on-one with you, but at this moment, without a signed MOU or a training agreement in place, I don't want to.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We can't, this is the one I'm lightly aware of.
Sir,
The,
I didn't do that.
this is one that that you have made me lightly aware of.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we can say that I think the partnership that I'm thinking about is someone who originated in Martinsville. It's a huge.
This is a large manufacturer in Martinsville.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So where we are now with it is, the standard protocol for workforce development to conduct an assessment and then develop the customized training. It's best business practice for that not to be the same entity that does the assessment and develops the custom training plan. Generally speaking, most industries are gonna go and look for a third-party assessment mechanism. And then they're gonna provide those results to us. So they are right now targeting, mid-March as being completion date for their assessments. At which point they'll provide those results to us and we can then meet with them to develop further training. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna make a comment real quick. So the Manufacturing Skills Institute, which is actually under the umbrella of the Virginia Manufacturers Association, we actually already have programs like this built out. So if there's any way we could be an assistance of, or potentially a partner, we'd be happy to help.
Yes, ma'am. I would absolutely love the opportunity to connect with you at your convenience to see what kind of opportunities there are to engage with MSI and to see what we can.
Absolutely, yeah, just if it would make sense for
Yes,
this
ma'am.
particular instance.
Other questions or comments? All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, for that.
Wait, hold on. Did Joe ask for comment on his chairman's report or
Yes, sir.
director's report?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir,
one of the
David.
things that I was thinking about was, if we could like do a more intense look at the announced businesses that are coming to our area now and see if we can get to those businesses earlier to see if we could retool in any way to help get skills into the community faster while they are building in their systems and production. So, because there's like, somebody gave me a ridiculous number, like 20,000 jobs coming to Southside in the next 12 months. So we got to connect with these guys. We've got to connect with these guys. If we know they're coming, we need to target them and say, who do you need? What do you need to retool our labor force to match your need? I just think we got to look at that because otherwise we keep training people that keep going elsewhere. We're definitely serving the state, that's wonderful, but we need to keep them local if we can. The only way to do that is plug them in early to the industries that are coming into town now.
I have a question. When they do the site selection, are you guys not a part of the conversation at all? No?
And so I think that leads itself back to the earlier discussion that was had, and I'll share with you very briefly. You know, I come from the state of Georgia where I was a key component of the workforce development program, and we had a team that we called the tarmac team. When you got the call and said, hey, there's a prospect, they're landing, you better be front and center, ready to go on a moment's notice to greet them and to start working on whatever it is they need to get them to your community. So it's something I'm very experienced in, and it's something that's our office, the local economic development, has always been the same. You call, we'll be there. You need it, we'll figure out what we can do for you.
What about VEDP? Because they run the site selection.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We've never received notification. I'm not saying that we have been intentionally excluded, but we've never been looped in or even by default mass email or anything in regards to any of those type of things.
Ashley.
Okay, Director Lockhart, stealing my thunder. You need to communicate with people on VEDP. If VEDP is the appropriate state level economic development engine, it would make sense that VEDP needs an economic or an educational liaison to our well built out and established state higher educational system to say, if you're coming into this area, these people might be helpful to speak with.
One suggestion, I think if we really want to ensure that we have economic developers at the table and potentially VDP, maybe it would be feasible to, when we're talking about board restructuring, adding a seat specifically for VEDP on the board. So then they're always at the table. And that way we'd have a little bit more of a heads up about new companies that are coming in. And I will say, I'll just.
Right, but I want
Go ahead.
I agree with what she just said, but I also want to do it the other way, which is what I want. I want our VEDP seat to be able to communicate with someone at VEDP or an institution or entity at that state level that is always at the table. So they're your advocate for the educational, make it statewide. So what exactly just, she said, but make it statewide from the top down. So I was just going to say, we can work on this locally for sure. But like, while there's still opportunity in this session, I'm going to work with some other people through VEDP and say, is there something that we need to do to have a top down position to always remember this when we are recruiting businesses coming in? Because I don't know if there's a tether between the two silos right now.
Can I make just a quick point and I'll
Just, and then I'll give the floor back to the score.
give it back to Ms. Gordon.
No, 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 no. I'll have
Ms.
you.
Gordon, you're in. Oh, you yield, okay. So, the city of Martinsville is virtually landlocked for development today. The development in our footprint largely is in Henry County. The DDP, as many people in this room know, is a very important group of people. I'm sure Jason would be happy to have a conversation about a top-down approach. More importantly, right now, the Southern Virginia Regional Alliance, which is out of Danville, headquartered at IALR, they are trying to stand up a more private-public partnership, which would include our footprint. You may know that the economic development group that's in the building that we reside in, they are not part of the SVRA and don't appear to be a part of the SVRA. It has to do with some, basically the way they see how leads would be apportioned out in a centralized fashion. So while Jason might take that call, as far as I'm concerned, Delicate, you can make it. I think it's a much more complicated thing here on the ground level between what EDC does today and has done, and that's largely with Henry County. But I think it would be a great conversation to have, kind of like a marshmallow conversation, because you can push on both sides of this and something's going to come. But it is much more in the trenches, details that have jack to do with the state. I mean, it's really between the SVRA and EDC, truth be told. And the people that are telling Joe, we don't need you, is what they're saying, are largely aligned with P&H. Because P&H historically has been the people showing the Met to people when people want to bring industry into Henry County. And I've only been here 7 years, but I don't think I'm too far off. I mean, that's what's been going on, and they've been doing a good job, They don't do a bad job, but they also don't do to what Delegate Williams said. They tend to want to be good at standing up a company to go live. But training people into actual jobs that were needed by new industry coming in, that's something that not necessarily that P&H has any, purview over. So it would be certainly an open lane for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry if I spoke too much, I yield back.
Let's go.
I'm just gonna make a note that I've had several businesses that are coming into Virginia, big industry and pharma, saying they want to have conversations about workforce and building out programs here. So I know that's something they're very interested in.
Yes, ma'am. And again, I look forward to connecting with you to earliest meetings. I'd love to explore that further.
Perfect. We're good.
Thank you. Anyone else? Gotcha.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I think it's important that we maybe want to add that to our list of things that we want to develop a relationship with. I think the EVP is definitely one. I'm a little bit time removed from that, but when I was mayor, we actually had a very, very close relationship with the EVP. And we actually have board members on there from our region. So I'm sure that that's all completely changed and over, but that relationship is essential. Now, our local, my awareness of the local EVP, the Economic Development Corporation, BDC, and Martin County has that relationship. But, that is the conduit by which all of this goes. When the company, like the most recent one came, it was a 10 company, they required and said from the podium that the workforce development program that was offered to them through our local EDC was part of their decision-making process. And so they were praising community college and everything that went with that. So if we don't have that relationship now, and we're tagging ourselves to be the workforce development folks, we've got to get into that pipeline. Or otherwise, we're conflicting with what's going on as it is today. That's the whole point.
And I don't think that we would be chasing windmills to do that, but it would take all of the folks that we have on the dais here who are elected officials, who aren't from Martinsville, Henry County, to work on this with other colleagues, because Jason Alcubi, he may be in the building, I mean, he's got lots of things going on, but his deference is to Linda Green and SVRA. And SVRA runs our area by footprint, and our EDC is not a part of SVRA. We are out. So there is some conflict right there. So the elected officials could, and Jason's a cool guy. I mean, but Jason's already got chips on the table at Berry Hill. And that's Linda Green. He's got lots of chips there.
Okay.
Just political reality.
Okay.
I've only had 2 cups of coffee. Sorry. No.
Was it decaf?
It was not.
So I think, Dr. Crabtree, your recommendation, I think that definitely should be tasked out to the workforce and academic committee to look at.
Staff, make sure they reach out, see how we can facilitate and improve.
Yes.
Yep. Got it.
A good measurement there would be that we attend, somebody who NCI attends them, because the last one that we were at, NCI was not invited. My understanding, nor was anyone attendance except for board members.
Okay,
We're not on the list.
duly noted.
EDC.
Yes.
EDC.
No, he's talking about the.
You're talking about the announcement, the 10
announcement, the announcement, when they make a major announcement.
We should get that.
Point of clarification, we did receive that, that one for the first one we received. So, unfortunately, we have that organizational schedule conflict. We could not take it.
Okay.
But we did receive, that's progress, right?
Yes, sir, that's progress.
Okay, that's good to know.
We hope to look forward to receiving more of them, yes, sir.
But if that ever happens again and there's an organization-wide conflict, perhaps a member of the board could attend in your stead. So, yeah.
Had board members there, but not passing, just say.
But glad they
Don't say how many of
Yes, sir.
them. Most of us were there.
Well, can you wear 2 hats while you're?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, put your NCI hat on the next time.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll take it down. Joe, thanks again for your executive director's report. We will now adjourn to go into closed session.
I move that the Board of Directors convene in closed session pursuant to 2.2-3711A7 for consultation with legal counsel and briefings by staff members or consultants pertaining to actual or probable litigation where such consultation or briefing in public meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the public body. 2.2-3711A8 for consultation with legal counsel regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. And that legal counsel and the following NCI staff members remain in closed session whose presence will aid the board in its discussion. Joe Sumner, Olivia Garrett, Latasha LeGrant, and Christina Reed. Motion requires a second and a vote.
Second.
Oh, wait, I need a motion first. So moved. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All right, then we need to turn off the video, and everyone who was not on the list needs to leave the room.
We do.
It's almost.
Go. Delegate Williams, Michael, can you guys hear us okay?
Yep, no problem.
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
Yes.
yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, let me just unplug that computer altogether, so I'll let you. Picking up from the house.
Okay, we should be good. No, we're not. Still on there? Here. Manually. All right, I'm fixing it. Create. Latofa, you need to rejoin. That's what it is. And you can join with the owl because I'm the one streaming, so I'm the one that needs to be. Yes, 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 because the YouTube is on me, not you. So I need to add you and the owl and Michael and Ren to the breakout room. Yeah, as soon as Latasha gets back on Zoom, then I can do I remembered what I did last time. I should have printed off my cheat sheet. I need to put everybody in a waiting room. And then that's when I turn off my side. And so then Latasha is gonna be the co-host.
Before we go out,
She's so funny.
Brenda, you still there?
AV is back. We are.
All right, we are back. Whereas the Board of Directors of the New College Institute convened in closed session on January 15th, 2026 pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Virginia Code Section 2.2-3712 requires a certification by this Board of Directors that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now be it resolved that the Board of Directors hereby certifies to the best of each member's knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under Virginia law, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting of the Board of Directors. To certify, please answer yes or no when your name is called. Senator Srinivasan,
Yes.
Delegate Ren Williams.
Yes.
Delegate Revere Bowling,
Yes.
Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Ashley Lockhart, yes. Valerie Crummy Johnson,
Yes.
Dr. Mark Crabtree,
Yes.
Jay Dickens,
Yes.
Stacy Gordon,
Yes.
Kevin Lane,
Yes.
Michael Lunsgaard. Is he still on? Michael? Okay.
Hey, Eric, I'm on via Zoom.
Okay.
Lee Perlman,
Yes.
Marcus Stone.
Yes.
Okay. We are back in session.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chairman.
Oh, wait, I think we have to put, I need a motion, sorry. There's a second page. I need,
Yeah, there's no.
oh, there is no motion. Okay, thank you.
We'll now open the floor. Do we have any public comment?
No one signed up online, and I don't see anything.
Okay.
There's just no dead sign up, but I don't.
Okay. We'll move forward.
Wait, wait a minute, does he know?
Yeah, I guess.
I didn't see.
Richard Hall.
Olivia, but no,
I do have one.
Jay's one.
No, sitting on that side.
Yeah, so we're trying to.
You'll see if anyone's sitting
He's not
outside.
sitting out there.
Oh,
So we'll move forward, no public comment. Now I will hear a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor, vote by the sign of aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Successfully got out of vacation. I was like, I'm sorry,